अब जेल जाने हो कि विदेश? This is the exact thought that has been lingering around each individual after the social media bill was presented. To make the matters more clear, I've invited individuals who are actively advocating against the social media bill, and today with me I have Akriti Ghimire, NYU graduate with a journalist background at the Kathmandu Post, as well as currently the Chief of Staff to Parliament Sumana Shrestha. Alongside her, we have Parakram SJB Rana, who's a fashion and lifestyle content creator. So by the end of the video, you'll have an understanding of the situation of the bill at the parliament, why we should care about this bill, and what can we do about this bill. Hope you enjoy this.
2 years ago, I discovered one of the juiciest burgers in town, served by Tease Your Palate. And guess what? I'm thrilled to announce that they're sponsoring this video. And they've also opened a sister venture by the name Sicily by Tease. With the same service and with the same quality, they're serving you some delicious pizzas. All the details will be down in the description. Make sure to check them out.
So thank you so much, Aki Didi, for doing this. I think we can start from first my situation के भइरहेछ अहिले, because most people don't know how's the situation there, अनि कसरी चाहिँ यो बिल एन्डसम्म पुग्छ होइन, त्यो होल प्रोसेस अलिकति त्यहाँबाट बुझाइदिँदाखेरि चाहिँ ठिक होला जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई.
Okay, so hello Sahat, thank you so much for having me here. अहिलेको इस्यु चाहिँ के भइरहेछ भन्दाखेरि the government has proposed a social media bill. The whole purpose उहाँहरूको प्रस्तावनामा which is त्यो जब बिल आउँछ त्यो बिलमा लेखेको हुन्छ कि what is the objective of the bill भनेर होइन. They want to make सुशासनको लागि अनि मर्यादित in a sense कि एकदम dignified online environment and safe online environment को लागि चाहिँ we brought this bill भन्नुभएको छ होइन. अनि त्यो बिल ल्याउँदाखेरि चाहिँ बिलको एउटा सैद्धान्तिक अवधारणा भन्ने पनि हुन्छ कि विच इज लाइक वाट इज द फिलोसफिकल ग्राउन्डिङ बिहाइन्ड द बिल भन्ने कुरा हो कि त्यसमा भन्दाखेरि भेरियस डिफ्रेन्ट रिजन्सहरू दिनुभएको छ विच इज कन्स्टिट्युसनको हिसाबले पनि वेयर दे आर सेङ कि दे वान्ट टु प्रोटेक्ट फ्रिडम अफ स्पिच एन्ड फ्रिडम अफ एक्सप्रेसन एन्ड अल्सो एन्स्योर डेटा एन्ड प्राइभेसी राइट्स वाइल प्रेजेन्टिङ अ बिल विच मेक्स स्योर द्याट देयर इज अ सेफर अनलाइन इन्भाइरोमेन्ट भनौँ न. Which is, to be very honest, first is bill चाहिए पनि थियो, right? There's a lot of cyber stalking ko kuraharu, cyberbullying ko, online grooming, pedophilia. There's a whole lot of different spectrum of issues that need to be addressed. But is this the right way to address the issue is the bigger question. Okay? Like, yes, we all want a safer online environment. We do want हाम्रो data privacy related issues to be concerned. I think it is a very good thing to have different social media platforms to be registered in the country. Okay? Of course, these are catering to a whole different mass of people in the country as well. There are so many people online, होइन. अनि फ्रम सेफ्टी पर्सपेक्टिभ एज वेल कति धेरै साइबर ब्युरोको केसेसहरू सल्ट आउन किन सक्दैन भन्दाखेरि वाइ टेक्स सच अ लङ टाइम किनभने वी अलवेज हेभ टु रिफर टु समबडी एल्स टु प्रोभाइड अस द्याट डेटा एन्ड इन्फर्मेसन राइट. सो एक किसिमले देयर आर मेनी पोजिटिभ्स एन्ड स्ल्यास थिङ्स द्याट वी निड फर दिस बिल टु डु. के पोजिटिभ्स अलिकति कुरा गर्दाखेरि देयर इज गुनासो व्यवस्थापनको कुराहरू गर्नुभएको छ कि लाइक देन एभ्री एन्टी प्लेटफर्म द्याट रेजिस्टर्स इन द कन्ट्री दे निड टु ह्याभ यो कम्प्लेन्ट एड्रेस गर्ने मेकानिजम्सहरू हुनुपर्छ भन्ने कुराहरू गरेको छ कि विच इज गुड पोजिटिभ. अर्को भनेको देव अल्सो सेड कि लाइक से सचेतनामूलक कार्यक्रमहरू गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने पनि एउटा पाटो भयो विच इज दे निड्स टु बी इन्फर्मेटिभ मेकानिजम्स about data privacy के कुराहरू हुन्छ कि how do you navigate the online space safely भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ which is again good. Now the problem is as they've brought all of this bill there's a heavy chance that it is going to be abused because of all the vague terminologies that have been used. Okay? Few very key things भन्दाखेरि अब राष्ट्रहितको विपरीत गरेको अथवा कसैको मान मर्यादामा आँच आउने गरी केही पनि ट्रोलहरू बनाउन नहुने a lot of these things which make it seem maybe because we don't trust the government because of which we're very skeptic about it. Okay? In a sense that because of past evidences of oftentimes government using different policies to their own benefits, we're very wary of how these policies will be used. Okay? नेसनल इन्ट्रेस्टको कुरा गर्दाखेरि भोलि कुनै पनि रुलिङ प्राइम मिनिस्टर रुलिङ पार्टीको बारेमा हामीले केही बोल्यो भने इज द्याट अगेन्स्ट नेसनल इन्ट्रेस्ट अर नट होइन. or say platform ko definition ma, right? It says any sort of online platform ma communication ko hisabले चाहिँ that will be considered a platform bhanyo. अब you've seen online खबर को news आउँछ, news को तल there is a comment section, right? त्यहाँ पनि त interact गर्न मिल्यो नि त. Is that a सामाजिक सञ्जाल platform or not at this point? Or like say Google reviews, जहाँ पनि त people actually do have this platform to communicate. Does that fall under this purview or not? So there are a lot of these vague spaces, right? अब अर्को के छ भने नि, so if you like, share, repost, whatever, all of these tiny little things, right? तिमीले scroll गर्दा झुक्केर like हुन पनि त सक्छ नि त, which is there are many things that people do without a very conscious effort as well. Okay, at that point, that individual will most likely be penalized 5 lakhs some. Okay. So is that a fair amount of penalty, punishment that we're having? Like, you want to regulate, sure, but is that the right way of doing it? Okay? Now, as we're saying, is that the right way? Like, did they never have these conversations? They did. In fact, they did. And this morning itself, there have been people who've said ki, we've multiple times had this conversation with the government about what should be done and what should not be done. The crime ko hisable, is the punishment given proportional or not? Like, we've had these conversations. Media Council bill ma pani katti garyo, but it didn't work. And now as well, as these conversations are happening, they're like, we've been saying this over and over again, and yet they've brought a bill like this. Which is to say that given past record, are they going to amend what they promised they're going to amend? Which is most likely it's not going to happen. So the only thing that we, and given my experience of working in parliamentary processes and observing it pretty closely, is that we need to demand for the bill to be taken back. We need to demand for it to be withdrawn, okay? Now, having said all of this, allikati process ma I'll go, I'll come back to your question of what exactly happens now. First process is bill register huncha. Bill register Nepal has 2 houses, upper house and lower house. Or like upper house like National Assembly bhancha, lower house like House of Representatives bhancha. So duitema your bill can be registered. Aba दुईटैमा गइसकेपछि यो बिल चाहिँ एनएमा एज द नेसनल असेम्ब्लीमा रेजिस्टर भएको छ कि अब नेसनल असेम्ब्लीमा रेजिस्टर भइसकेपछि द होल प्रोसेस अस्ति मिनिस्टरले चाहिँ म पेश गर्छु भनेर अनुमति मागेको भयो कि डु वी अग्री टु प्रेजेन्ट दिस बिल भन्यो कि त्यसमा चाहिँ एमपीज जो हुनुहुन्छ दे हेभ द राइट टु से कि नो वी डिसएग्री that you propose this bill भनेर त्यो गर्नु भएन कि which happened on 9th Feb. None of the MPs, despite there being such a huge outcry already online, none of them oppose this. But what happens is there is going to be a set date where they are going to start with general discussion. Nepalima भन्दाखेरि सैद्धान्तिक छलफल हुन्छ. सैद्धान्तिक छलफलमा is they're going to sit and they're going to say, okay, यो बिलको not दफा वाइज गएर हैन कि what is the overarching vision. Usually when you come with a bill, you think of say law bill भनौँ अथवा policy किन बन्छ भन्ने question गर्दाखेरि के किन चाहियो त भन्दाखेरि यो प्रब्लम छ यो प्रब्लम सल्भ गर्न चाहिँ यो ल्याएको भन्ने हो नि त जनरल एक्सपेक्टेड कुरा के बट आई थिंक प्रब्लम एकातिर छ हामी सल्युसन चाहिँ अर्कोतिर गरिरहेछौँ के लाइक अर लाइक ब्ल्याङ्केट अप्रोचमा एकदम टाइट गरेर हिसाबले के अनि विच मेक्स मी फिल द्याट इट्स भेरी रिग्रेसिभ होइन नाउ यो सैद्धान्तिक छलफलमा चाहिँ यस्तै लेभलको ओभरआर्चिङ डिस्कसन हुन्छ सैद्धान्तिक छलफल सकेपछि एन्ड एमपीज क्यान टक अबाउट इट दे क्यान रेजिस्टर कि लाइक सो ओके आइम गोना प्रेजेन्ट माई भ्युज अन दिस भनेर दे डिस्कस राइट Now, after that, that leaves open for 72 hours for the MPs to submit their amendments. Right? About 72 hours, my National Assembly ko MPs are after amendment submit karnunsa. After the 72 hours time period is over, then depends on the parliament at the time whether they want to send it to the parliamentary committee or whether they want to fast track battle loizane bhancha ke fast track battle loizane bhaneko they don't send it to the committee. They directly put it back in National Assembly अनि को सहमत हुनुहुन्छ हात उठाउनु को सहमत हुनुहुन्न हात राख्नु भन्ने हिसाबले and then they discuss it के अनि त्यो बेलामा अमेन्डमेन्ट चाहिँ directly National Assembly मा डिस्कस हुन्छ कि as opposed to going every दफा वाइज समितिमा भयो भने चाहिँ rigorous process मा जान्छ where like you call every person जस्तै तिमीले अमेन्डमेन्ट राखेछ अर्कोले राखेछ अर्कोले चाहिँ सबलाई बोलाउँछ हैन मलाई पनि बोलाए सपोज अनि हामी बसेर every दफा वाइज किन राखेको तपाईले के भनेर we get to defend our amendments के so point wise हुन्छ बट इफ त्यो उसमा भयो भने के अरे त्यो डिरेक्टली एसेम्ब्लीमा गयो भने त पोइन्ट वाइज जान टाइम हुँदैन सेट टाइम दिएको हुन्छ 5 मिनट 3 मिनट 7 मिनट्स कि सो त्यो टाइममा सबै डिफेन्ड गर्नुपर्छ कि अनि त्यो भएकोले जुन लेभल अफ थरोनेस चाहिन्छ डिरेक्ट एसेम्ब्लीमा गयो भने हुँदैन कि द थरोनेस ह्यापन्स वेन इट गोज टु द कमिटी है अब कमिटीमा गयो भने आइडियल पाथ थियो तर बिकज नेपालको कति धेरै लजहरू त ओभरनाइट ल्याउँछ नि त पेलेरै ल्याउन खोज्छ नि त त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ दे टेक टु द समिति कि अब इट गोज ब्याक टु गभर्मेन्टको इन्टेन्सन के हो अहिले भन्नेमा क्वेसन हुन्छ कि विच इज वी क्यान टेल इट्स एज इराटिक एज इट क्यान बी अनि अर्को भनेको अब ल त्यो पनि सक्यो अरे कमिटीमा गएर उनीहरूले डिसाइड गर्यो यताउति गर्यो अब कमिटीमा पुगिसकेपछि उनीहरूले एउटा प्रतिवेदन निकाल्छ कि रिपोर्ट जस्तै विधायन व्यवस्थापन समितिमा जान्छ कि त्यो भनेको लेजिस्लेटिभ कमिटी भनौँ न त्यो कमिटीमा गएपछि त्यहाँको सेट नम्बर अफ एमपिज हुनुहुन्छ कि त्यो कमिटीमा चाहिँ इच कमिटी हुन्छ इच कमिटीमा सर्टेन नम्बर अफ एमपिज हुन्छ दिज एमपिज आर मोर रेस्पोन्सिबल टुवर्ड्स वर्किङ अन द्याट कि अनि त्यो कमिटीभित्र उपसमिति भन्छ सो सब कमिटी भन्छ सो देयर इज अ विधायन व्यवस्थापन समिति सो सोसियल मिडिया बिलको लागि दे विल लेटर क्रिएट सोसियल मिडियाको लागि सब कमिटी के अनि द्याट कमिटी विल अझ हेभिली सिट इन वर्क अन इट है नाउ त्यहाँबाट निस्केपछि एउटा प्रतिवेदन आउँछ द्याट प्रतिवेदन फर्स्ट द कमिटी पासेस है अब त्यो प्रतिवेदन कमिटीले पास गरेपछि त्यो प्रतिवेदन दे विल ब्रिङ इट ब्याक टु नेसनल असेम्ब्लीमा द पार्टिज विल अग्री डिसअग्री एक लेभलको छलफल हुन्छ एन्ड देन दे पास इट फ्रम देयर अब त्यो प्रतिवेदन पास भइसकेपछि वाट ह्यापन्स इज एनएबाट निस्किँदा हामीसँग दुईवटा डकुमेन्ट निस्किन्छ वान इज तिम्रो त्यो विधेयकै भइहाल्यो त्यो विधेयकसँगै तिम्रो अर्को यो प्रतिवेदन निस्किन्छ के विथ दिज बोथ डकुमेन्ट्स नाउ दिस मुभ्स टु हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स है बिकज यो एनएबाट सुरु भएको एनएमा आउँछ गोज टु एचओआर हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्समा गइसकेपछि हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स अझै बिगर पनि भयो होइन एनए इज अलिक सानो हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स इज बिगर अब एनएमा एचओआरमा गइसकेपछि सेम प्रोसेस वेयर पेस गर्नुहुने भन्ने हुन्छ अगेन एमपिज देयर क्यान अल्सो से कि वी डिसअग्री भनेर भन्न पायो त्यहाँ पनि होइन अनि त्यसपछि अगेन सैद्धान्तिक छलफल हुन्छ सेम प्रोसेस अगाडिको जस्तो जेनरल डिस्कसन देन 72 आवर्स अफ अमेन्डमेन्ट सबमिसन 72 आवर्स अफ अमेन्डमेन्ट सबमिसन गोज टु त्यहाँको कमिटी विच इज बिकज यो मिनिस्ट्री अफ कम्युनिकेसन एन्ड इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी हो हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभभित्र चाहिँ इट गोज टु शिक्षा स्वास्थ्य तथा सूचना प्रविधि समिति एजुकेसन हेल्थ एन्ड इन्फर्मेसन कमिटी इन्फर्मेसन टेक कमिटीमा जान्छ कि त्यहाँ पनि सेम थिङ they'll discuss, they'll present a report, that report will be brought back to HOR मा टेबल हुन्छ डिस्कस हुन्छ and then they pass it. Now all of this मा हेर्दाखेरि यत्रो प्रोसेस रहेछ हुन्छ नि like there are so many ways that we can probably voice our concerns against it where we can probably keep defending it हुन्छ नि यो चेन्ज हुने भन्ने we might think that होइन के हुन्छ भने who is on the government गभर्मेन्टमा कतिजना छ एभ्री प्रोसेसमा अप्रुभल गर्न त मेजोरिटी चाहियो राइट हु इज ब्रिङिङ द बिल इज द गभर्मेन्ट हु इज द मेजोरिटी इन नेसनल असेम्ब्ली अथवा लाइक हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ भनेको इज द रुलिङ पार्टी के सो अफ्टन टाइम्स द ट्रेन्ड इज दे विल नट अपोज what the government has brought because already एक लेभलको अग्रिमेन्ट भएर आइसक्यो नि त यो हाम्रो पार्टीले ल्याएको यो हाम्रोले ल्याएको खालको सो लाइक you're going to continue with it भन्ने खालको के so as much as we see कि यहाँ पनि यो पनि procedure there are multiple procedures के but I'm not hopeful that any of these procedures will yield the sort of results that we want के you get what I mean
हजुर अनि यो जुन चाहिँ अपोज गरिसक्यो नि अब मान्छेहरूको कस्तो छ भने यो बिल पास हुँदैन भनेर कतिजनाले उनीहरूको दिमागमा सेट गरिसक्यो बिकज लट अफ पिपल आर हुन्छ नि टकिङ अबाउट इट तर त्यहाँ चाहिँ कस्तो सिचुएसन छ लाइक वेयर लाइक हुन्छ नि पिपल लाइक किनकि कतिजनालाई त्यो पास हुन्छ भनेर पास हुँदैन भनेर बसिरहेछ कि दे डोन्ट नो द एक्चुअल स्टफ वाट इज ह्यापनिङ होइन सो इफ यु क्यान एक्सप्लेन द्याट अ बिट
ओके सो आई एम इन्सपायर्ड बाई देयर होप द्याट दे थिङ्क पास हुँदैन भनेर होइन बट सिम्पल इक्जाम्पल्स दिन्छु ल वी फर्स्ट इक्जाम्पल वाज यो हामीले जब हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्सको रुल्स बनिरहेको बेलामा So MPsहरूलाई lunch break हुँदैन है by the way. So like if 5 घण्टाको भयो भने there is no break for you to go and get your lunch, anything of that sort, which is like you keep seeing MPs coming in and out because of a lunch break छैन, so which means they technically can go in and out anytime खालको भयो नि त. So we were like, you know what, give us a set lunch break, so everybody, there's no excuse for anybody to leave midway भन्ने हिसाबले पनि के, but also lunch break त चाहियो नि त. अनि त्यो गर्नलाई they did not agree के. Simple ask हो नि. It's a good thing which everybody, if like हामी सब क्लासरुममा छौँ भने हो यो हो लन्च ब्रेक चाहियो भने त we would agree होला नि त. But they did not agree just because त्यो opposition पार्टीको मेम्बरले राखेको अमेन्डमेन्ट थियो अनि रुलिङ पार्टी इज द मेजोरिटी, सो दे वर लाइक नो है. सिम्पलेस्ट इक्जाम्पल दिँदाखेरि के अर्को भनेको अब इज मिडिया रिलेटेड बिल है के. अस्ति पब्लिक ब्रडकास्टिङ बिल आयो होइन, पब्लिक ब्रडकास्टिङ बिल. सो मिडिया इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट हुनुपर्छ राइट, वी अग्री होइन. रेडियो नेपालले नेपालको गुड थिङ्स मात्र भन्ने हो कि नेपालको ब्याड थिङ्स पनि भन्ने हो? एक्ज्याक्टली. नेपाल टेलिभिजन पनि सेम राइट. बट इफ बोथ अफ दिज मिडिया हाउसेस कम अन्डर गभर्मेन्टको कन्ट्रोल, डु यु थिङ्क दे विल एभर से ब्याड थिङ्स अबाउट द गभर्मेन्ट? हो, वी सेड यो हुनु हुँदैन राइट. बट यो भन्दै गर्दाखेरि पनि अहिले भर्खर देव पास्ड अ बिल विच सेज इट सुड बी अन्डर द गभर्मेन्ट के. अनि यसको बारेमा धेरै अपोज गर्न त धेरै मिडिया हाउसेसले अपोज गर्नुभयो त. दे अल्सो वेन्ट, दे अल्सो ह्याड अल द स्टेक होल्डर मिटिङ्स एभ्रिथिङ होइन, तर स्टिल पास भयो नि त होइन. सो त्यो लेभलको जुन वी थिङ्क कि लाइक कहाँ त्यस्तो हुन्छ भन्ने जस्तो लाग्छ नि, टर्न्स आउट द्याट्स नट ट्रु के. टर्न्स आउट द्याट्स as much as I'd like to be delusional, that delusionless is just going to be harmful for us के. So एकदम realistically भन्नु पर्दाखेरि they will most likely pass the bill, and what we need to understand is like किन, okay, I think यो हामीले किन यो बिल आइरहेछ भन्ने कुरा पनि बुझ्नुपर्छ के. They're shutting down all anonymous accounts, which means every meme page, every routine of नेपाल बन्द गरिदिनु भएको छैन किनभने टेक्निकली देयर इज नो तिम्रो त्यो के अरे अनोनिमस अकाउन्ट भइदियो नि त. अथवा लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी मीम पेजेस राइट. हामीले आई डोन्ट नो इफ यु ह्याड दिस बट लाइक ग्रोइङ अप वी ह्याड लट्स अफ कन्फेसन पेजेस के राइट. अनि एक्ज्याक्टली, अनि देयर आर मेनी अफ दिज पेजेस वेयर पिपल डु वान्ट टु भोइस देयर ओपिनियन्स बट दे डोन्ट फिल सेफ राइट. And maybe they're also not interested in being seen and known. Not everybody cares about having their face out there. And when you're shutting all of this down, why is this an attack against this? Why is it an attack against memes or trolls? Is also because we as a generation, we speak in trolls and memes. Okay? Like if I walk in a certain situation, मेरो दिमागमा meme बच्छ के, यो गीत हुन्छ नि, you get what I mean? So that is how we relate to our society and how we exist and function as well. Okay, it is a huge part of our expression पनि नि त. So त्यो entire कुरालाई तिमीले बन्द गर्न खोज्नु भनेको इज एउटा entire generation / upcoming generation को way of communication लाई नै तिमीले बन्द कि बनाएको पनि भयो. But also these pages, these platforms, all of this and these groups as well have been the whole foundation / one of the biggest contributors of rising of alternative forces in Nepal. Balanko rise huncha, new parties or rise hos, various different people who ran as independents, right? A lot of the endorsement, a lot of your mass media reach sabai यो pages को through bata bhayo ni ta. As they're shutting this down, what they're telling us is कि like 2084 मा इलेक्सन आउँदैछ, इलेक्सनको अगाडिको we will shut all of these platforms down, we will shut all of these avenues down so that there are no new forces that can come up भन्ने हो के. That is, you're forcing the traditional way of doing politics, doing elections के. So this is, to me, this seems very election centric as well. Okay? This is an attack against democracy. This is an attack against our ways of expressing ourselves. But also this is a very strategic and political move what they're doing, keeping in light of the upcoming elections पनि के.
हजुर हजुर, मलाई पनि के लाग्छ भने द्याट्स वाट आई वाज सेङ बिकज लट अफ क्रिएटर्स डोन्ट रियलाइज दिस होइन, जुन चाहिँ राइट टु इन्फर्मेसन छ नि हाम्रो, त्यो नै अल्टर्ड भइरहेछ फर्स्ट कुरा जुन चाहिँ ब्लक गऱ्यो भने होइन. अनि अर्को कुरा के भन्दाखेरि तपाईँले भने जस्तै पिपल इफ लाइक देयर मेकिङ यो के भन्छ इन्फर्मेसन, अनि यो इन्फर्मेसन बन्द गरिदियो भने चाहिँ पोलिटिकल पिपल विल युज दिस फर द इलेक्सन, अनि इलेक्सन अल्टर्ड हुन्छ, अनि जुन चाहिँ अब भोट राख्ने त्यो इन्फ्लुएन्स हुन्छ. बिकज लेट्स फेस इट, नेपालको लिट्रेसी रेट इज लो होइन. सो लट अफ पिपल फल ब्याक टु टिकटक ओर सोसियल मिडिया टु लेट्स सपोज गेट देयर इन्फर्मेसन होइन. त्यही नै अल्टर्ड भइदियो, त्यही नै अब लेट्स सपोज एउटा पोलिटिकल पार्टीलाई एउटा पेडेस्टलमा चढाउनलाई नेरेटिभ सेट गरिदियो भने आई थिङ्क द elections will be altered. Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah, which is त्यो भनेको त ब्रेन वाश गर्न पायो नि त. तिमीसँग जति we act based on the amount of information that we get, right? We make informed decision based on the limited amount of information we get. So if we don't get that information, we will act based on what they feed us, right? Ani think about it. I don't know if you remember, but like Balanko campaign हुँदाखेरि mainstream media did not cover him.
Yeah.
Which means he used his social media, okay? A lot of new forces, alternative forces ले पनि आफ्नो communication channels हरु सबै social media बाट गर्नु परेको हो, okay? There's a if you look at the coverage को कुराहरु हिसाबले पनि you can make that, you can clearly see, okay? And if not saying that the mainstream media likes this bill, I'm not saying that. They have their own grievances with regard to this bill. What it will create is an environment where, say, we get a lot of our information from, say, your Awaz News bhanne online platforms, right? Or No Next Question le haleko poster, or Routine of Nepal banda le haleko poster, right? So यो सबै पेजेसहरूले कति कुराहरू राख्दै गर्दाखेरि कुन कुरालाई नेसनल इन्ट्रेस्टको लेबल अगेन्स्ट नेसनल इन्ट्रेस्टको कुरा लेबल लगाइदिन्छ भन्ने ग्यारेन्टी छैन के. किनभने अनि अर्को कुरा भनेको सिटिजन जर्नलिजम, राइट? नेपालमा अहिले जस्तै मैले जब यो हाम्रो यो बाढी आएको थियो नि अस्ति अक्टोबर रेन्जको कारणले 2-3 दिन मजाले पानी परेर, त्यो बेलाको मेन स्ट्रिम मिडियामा त्यो लेभलको कभर भएको थिएन जति द अमाउन्ट अफ त्यो ड्यामेजको बारेमा इन्फर्मेसन आई गट थ्रु टिकटक के. त्यो भनेको मान्छेले भइरहेको कुराहरू रेकर्ड गरेर राखेको थियो नि त. सो त्यो एट वाट पोइन्ट इज इट गोइङ टु बी नेपालको इमेज एकदम बिगार्यो भन्ने किसिमले के. एन्ड दिस रिमाइन्ड्स मी, दिस गोज ब्याक टु लाइक आई कान्ट हेल्प बट किप थिङ्किङ के. जस्तै पहिला हामीलाई स्कुलमा हुँदाखेरि के स्कुलको बेलामा स्कुलको बारेमा केही नराम्रो भन्यो भने तिमीले स्कुलको बेइज्जत गर्यो भनेर गाली गर्थ्यो नि त. कति धेरै स्कुल्सहरूले कन्फेसन पेजेसहरू बन्द गर्यो किनभने स्कुलको बेइज्जत गर्यो भनेर के, होइन? सो द्याट्स probably the same thing that the country is going to do at a national level, where it's like, तिमीले हाम्रो कन्ट्रीको बेइज्जत गर्यो, so like we shut you down भन्ने हिसाबले के. Who knows if that's the route that it's going to take.
No. So the अर्को question के छ भन्दाखेरि like a lot of people, individuals on the other side are saying यो क्रिएटर्सहरूले धेरै एक्जाजुरेट गरेर भनिरहेछ होइन. फर हुन्छ नि यो बिल त्यस्तो नर्मल हो, यो यिनीहरूले एक्जाजुरेट गरेर भनिरहेछ. सो what do you have to say about this होइन? अनि त्यसपछि के भन्छ जुन चाहिँ क्रिएटर्सहरूलाई नि अट्याक आइरहेछ यो why are you guys exaggerating this bill too much भनेर.
Well, we remember Kshitij Apurva, no?
Yeah.
We remember what happened to him. Society को त्यो के भन्ने के, we don't want this bill because we fear that whatever good intentions, even if they have any, will definitely be used to curtail our ability to even express ourselves. कस्तो भने त्यो let me rephrase this better. There's a lack of trust in the government that they will use it in the right ways. If we trusted the government that they will, yes, give us a safe environment, yes, they will protect against cyber bureau को यो cyberbullying को केसेसहरु हुन्छ नि जुन लेभलको त्यो क्विकनेस का साथ कति कुराहरु एड्रेस गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ, yes गर्ने भएको भए maybe would have been open with this, we'd have agreed to this के. तर हेर न जस्तै अब आशिका तामाङलाई just based on her videos she was jailed, उसको जेलको म्याद थपै गर्यो. On the other hand, a lot of people are उनीहरुलाई केही पनि गर्दैन because of political affiliations के. So कुन लेभलको यो कुनै पनि ललाई लिएर उनीहरूले पोलिटिकल मनुभरिङ कसरी गर्छ, कसरी कसैलाई जस्ट बिकज उनीहरूले गरेको कुराहरूको रिपोर्टहरू निकालेर, जस्तै अब टङ्क ढकालको कुरा गरौँ होइन, टङ्क ढकाल हो
टङ्क दाहाल जस्तो छ
टङ्क ढकाल, ओके सरी, टङ्कजीको कुरा गर्दाखेरि होइन, he makes amazing videos, right?
Yeah.
So त्यो भनेको त he's putting out very critical video out there which allows us to get information that nobody is writing about, nobody is speaking about, के सो त्यो त सबै कुराहरू त if the country feels, and country at that point becomes the government, के त्यो बेलामा सरकारमा को हुन्छमा फरक पर्छ के and what I'm very interested in is कि like जस्तै त्यो बेलामा दुईटा पार्टी छ अरे, अपोजिसन अर्को पार्टी छ, त्यो बेलामा they might easily keep on attacking certain other पार्टीको मान्छेहरू, but then भोलि अर्को पार्टी भयो भने त उसले पनि त सेम थिङ गर्छ नि त. सो आई डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड हाउ आर दे ओके विथ दिस भन्ने कुरा पनि के. बट टु आन्सर योर क्वेसन, I don't think our worry is unwarranted. I think it is very legitimate because the government has not left us any room for us to trust them. के
अनि मलाई चाहिँ अर्को फ्रम what I've seen in the YouTube space होइन के भइरहेछ भने हाम्रो इन्डिभिजुअल्स पिपल हु आर मेकिङ भिडियोज, इन्फर्मेटिभ भिडियोज, उनीहरूले चाहिँ मजाले एक्सप्लेन गरेको थियो. द्याट्स हाउ वी गट द इन्फर्मेसन. एन्ड आई थिङ्क गभर्मेन्ट इज सम वाट वरिड अबाउट हाम्रो जुन चाहिँ सिटिजन्स गेटिङ दिस इन्फर्मेसन्स के जस्तो लाग्छ. द्याट्स हाउ आई फिल होइन. अनि त्यस अब फर इक्जाम्पल अब इनडेप्थ स्टोरी, नेपाली कमेन्ट, तपाईँ टङ्का दाहाल, these people are putting out critical information, होइन, which I think that the government doesn't want the citizens to हुन्छ नि really get. That's what I think, होइन. अनि I think यो बिलमा चाहिँ because अब these people might get हुन्छ नि squashed in the mix of the bill जस्तो लाग्छ कि. That's what because उनीहरूले जसरी पहिलादेखि नै they were already targeted, but I think that उनीहरूलाई ठ्याक्क यो अमेन्डमेन्टले चाहिँ गर्न मिल्ने भनेर लुप होल्स अझै राम्रोसित राखेको थिएन. अनि आई थिङ्क यो बिलले चाहिँ त्यो लुप होल्स क्रिएट गरिदिन्छ. अनि आई वान्ट यु टु एक्सप्लेन द इम्पोर्टेन्स अफ हुन्छ नि बिङ एक्ज्याक्ट वाइल मेकिङ अ बिल. अनि वाइ वाज दिस बिल सो भेग. अनि इफ पिपल रियली वान्टेड, द पिपल हु आर सेङ द्याट सोसियल मिडिया बिलहरू क्रिएट हुनुपर्छ, इफ दे रियली वान्टेड लाइक हुन्छ नि गुड लज, वाइ वाज दिस सो मच भेग. अनि तपाईँको पोस्टमा पनि राख्नु भएको छ वेयर this bill seems a bit too unnatural, होइन, compared to other bills because the के भन्छ penalties are really high, होइन. If you could explain that a bit.
Yeah. म दुईटा बिल जस्तोको इक्जाम्पल दिन्छु ल. फुड एन्ड हाइजिन बिलमा हामीले फुड क्वालिटी एन्ड हाइजिन बिलमा हामीले काम गर्दाखेरि के त्यो बिल भनेको चाहिँ से इफ कुनै पनि अलिकति सिम्प्लिफाई गरेर भन्दाखेरि इफ कुनै पनि से कम्पनी विच प्रड्युसेस एग्रो प्रडक्ट्सहरू होइन, उनीहरूको प्रडक्टमा चाहिँ क्वालिटीको कम्प्रोमाइज भयो भने चाहिँ पेनल्टी सर्टन अमाउन्ट भन्ने थियो कि. अब लेट मी आस्क यु दिस क्वेसन ल. तिम्रो घर नजिकैको डेरीको मान्छेलाई एक दिन बिग्रेको दुध बेच्यो भने उसले पैसा कति तिर्ने र सिजी ग्रुपले वाइवाईको प्याकेटमा केही बिग्रेको बेच्यो भने उसले पेनल्टी कति तिर्ने, यो दुइटैको पेनल्टी अमाउन्ट इक्वल हुन्छ? हुनुपर्छ,
सेम हुनुपर्छ. आई थिङ्क इट निड्स टु बी डिफरेन्ट.
एक्ज्याक्टली राइट. बट त्यो बिलमा दे पुट इट सिमिलर के, एकदम सेमै छ क्या. त्यो जुन क्याटेगोरिज अफ कति अमाउन्ट हिसाबले गर्नुपर्ने भनेको त्यो छैन क्या. अर्को इक्जाम्पल इज यो आर्काइभ्स प्रोटेक्सन बिल रिलेटेड हो होइन. त्यो भनेको इज लाइक कुनै पनि ब्युरोक्रेट, सो नेपालको सबै गभर्मेन्ट डकुमेन्ट्सहरू आर्काइभ भएर बस्छ नि त, बस्नु पनि पऱ्यो नि त. अनि त्यो बस्दाखेरि चाहिँ यदि कुनै पनि ब्युरोक्राटले डिस्ट्रोय अथवा लाइक इफ यु सुन्ट बी गेटिङ एक्सेस एन्ड इफ आई गिभ यु एक्सेस भने त्यो गर्न नपाउने, अथवा लाइक इफ मैले केही केयरमेट गरेँ, मैले त्यो डिस्ट्रोय गरेँ हुन्छ नि, त्यो गऱ्यो भने द म्याक्सिमम पेनल्टी इज अप टु 50,000 के. एन्ड यता इफ आई अन द सोसियल मिडिया इफ आई लाइक or like share or post something, I'm gonna get penalized up to 5 lakhs के. That just doesn't make sense. हुन्छ नि. In many ways, I don't know, advertisement related law मा पनि होइन, technically you can't advertise alcohol को कुराहरू होइन, you can't advertise त्योहरू के but like oftentimes we see ads of these things on various platforms भनौँ न त्यो भनेको पेनल्टी लो छ let me just put the advertisement I can pay the penalty भन्ने किसिमको पनि हुन्छ के बेला बेला so which is you're not technically disincentivizing you know what's happening I bet those platforms reach every ministry every lawmaking body होइन त everybody sees it so तर if say 5 लाख लेभलको अमाउन्ट कसैले like is that even a feasible amount के ल ठिक छ you want to maintain social harmony you want to do everything हुन्छ नि why not like म कति सोचिरहेको थिएँ कि यसको बारेमा तिमीले इन्स्टाग्राममा केही कमेन्ट लेख्यो भने इङ्ग्लिसमा सपोज यु राइट समथिङ देयर आर सर्टेन वर्ड्स हुने बित्तिकै अटोमेटिकली हाइड कमेन्ट्स भइदिन्छ नि अटोमेटिकली सेन्सर भइदिन्छ नि वाइ डु वी नट इन्स्टेड गिभ अ लिस्ट अफ वर्ड्स विच वी कलेक्टिभली एज अ सोसाइटी क्यान अग्री कि यस्तो 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 कुराहरू लेख्यो भने चाहिँ वी डिमान्ड द्याट ABCDE platforms will censor these words भनेर के would that not be a better ask as opposed to saying कि यो गर्न पाउनु यो नगर्नु with that level of vagueness के but let's have a discussion on what are the words that we as a society think are very सोसाइटीलाई डिमिन गर्ने सोसाइटीको मोरल इन्टेग्रिटी माथि एकदमै नै आँच पुर्याउने वर्ड्सहरू के हो त भनेर के होइन सो त्यो भएकोले चाहिँ like the way that I see it is I don't think there is this genuine thought of making the platform safe. I think the focus is more on how do I get everyone to just shut up?
Shut off, yeah.
Like literally shut everyone down. How do I silence them? किनभने डर छ नि त मान्छेलाई कसलाई पुलिस अफिसमा गएर कसलाई धाइरहन मन लाग्छ लाइक एउटा ब्युरोक्रेटको एउटा प्रोसेस लिन लाइक अस्ति भर्खर मेरो साथीको नागरिकताको के काम गर्न एकैछिनमा सकिने काम उनलाई 3-4 घण्टा लाग्यो होइन त्यो कति ट्याक्सिङ छ कति त्यो बर्डनिङ छ त्यो त हामी सबैलाई थाहा छ नि त अनि you're literally flagging this where you're saying कि don't you dare भनेको हो नि त we as people who speak, write, content creators, people who've honestly been doing God's work at this point, सबैलाई don't you dare speak भनेको हो नि त अनि is this the democracy that we fought for? Is this the society that we wanted to live in? Is this the reason why we voted them to be in these positions?
अनि कतिजना मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ के छ भन्दाखेरि अब बिल सेज द्याट once we see the bill we can see that it controls social media a lot होइन प्लेटफर्म्स अब ऊ नगरे पनि पिनलाइज पनि गर्न सक्छ प्लेटफर्म्सलाई भनेर पोसिबिलिटिज छ सो वाट डु यु थिङ्क द इफेक्ट वुड बी टु पिपल अनि वाट डु यु थिङ्क गभर्मेन्टले सोसियल मिडियास आफ्नो हातमा लिइसकेपछि चाहिँ त्यो कस्तो रिपेल इफेक्ट हुँदै जान्छ हाम्रो सिटिजनहरूलाई
द्याट्स अ भेरी गुड क्वेसन होइन एउटा के पनि पोइन्ट छ भने नि सो विभाग भनेर मोसेटभित्र मोसेट इन द सेन्स मिनिस्ट्री अफ कम्युनिकेसन एन्ड इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी मोसेटभित्र विभाग हुन्छ कि सो इन अ सेन्स वेल उनीहरूले मन्त्रालयभित्र विभाग भनेर चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै भनेको छैन होइन बट विभाग जे होस् एउटा विभाग भयो होइन सपोज त्यो विभागले चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर कम्प्लेन आयो उजुरी आएर दे विल इन्भेस्टिगेट बेस्ड अन देयर इन्भेस्टिगेसन इफ दे थिङ्क कि यु नो वाट I need, you know what, this person needs to be penalized, whatever, for further investigation. I need their user details भनेर मैले फेसबुकलाई इन्स्टाग्रामलाई टिकटकलाई भन्छु कि अब सो imagine you've posted something भोलि you're going to post something the विभाग is like you know what I don't like this so they're going to say त्यो प्लेटफर्मलाई कि लाइक मलाई त्यो मान्छेको युजर डिटेल दे भनेर युजर डिटेलमा के पर्यो there is no specificity like are you going to ask for my account ID, password, phone number, घरको ठेगाना? Are you going to track me down? किनभने त्यो लेभलको स्पेसिफिसिटी त हुन्छ नि त प्लेटफर्मसँग what is the user detail that you're going to ask? Like how will I as a user on that platform feel safe under Nepal government? किनभने त्यो स्पेस पनि छोडेको छ के and if the platforms don't agree to this then they're going to be penalized Of course, like अरू कन्ट्रिजहरूमा पनि यो के अरे गभर्मेन्टले कति कुराहरू टेक डाउन टेक डाउन गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने प्रोभिजन्सहरू छ नभएको होइन कि तर जस्ट बिकज वी कान्ट ट्रस्ट द गभर्मेन्ट एभ्रिथिङ जस्ट फिल्स सो स्केरी एट दिस पोइन्ट के
हो मान्छेहरूले कसरी सोधिरहेछ लाइक कसरी ट्र्याक डाउन गर्छ आई थिङ्क वन्स दे रिक्वेस्ट द इन्फर्मेसन आफ्नो आइपी थाहा पाइहाल्छ सो वन्स दे नो योर आइपी घर के हो कस्तो हो इट्स भेरी सिम्पल अनि त्यसपछि आई थिङ्क हाम्रो टेक्नोलोजी यतिसम्म छ कि दे क्यान ट्र्याक डाउन स्प्याम अकाउन्ट्स भेरी इजिली होइन अनि त्यो गरिसकेपछि तपाईँले भनेपछि नो राइट टु प्राइभेसीको हुँदै हनन हुन्छ होइन अनि त्यो रिपल इफेक्ट हुँदै जान्छ सो आई वान्ट अ बिट सिफ्ट अ बिट अलिकति सो वाट थिङ्स क्यान वी डु होइन तपाईँले भनेपछि पिटिसन भन्यो तर मेरो कतिजना मान्छेहरूले सोध्यो यो पिटिसनले चाहिँ गर्छ के एक्चुअली होइन यो कसरी हाउ इज दिस बिङ युज भोइस त्यहाँसम्म जान्छ त भनेको फर्स्ट टाइम सुमना दिदीले ठ्याक्क पार्लियामेन्टमा हाम्रो कुरा उठाइदिँदाखेरि चाहिँ इट फेल्ट रियली हुन्छ नि हाम्रो भोइस चाहिँ बिङ हर्ड जस्तो लागिरहेको थियो होइन सो इफ यु क्यान एक्सप्लेन हाउ यो भोइसिङ चाहिँ कसरी पार्लियामेन्टसम्म पुग्छ अनि त्यसपछि यो पिटिसन्सहरू चाहिँ एक्चुअली कसरी वर्क गर्छ
So the whole point, the bigger thing that we need to do is pressurize the government, है एउटा पार्ट भनेको हाम्रो डिमान्ड भनेको इज टु विथड्र द बिल डिमान्डको एउटा पार्ट भयो अर्को भनेको इज टु प्रेसराइज द गभर्मेन्ट नाउ हाउ डु यु प्रेसराइज इज द क्वेसन के अघि मैले भने जस्तो देयर आर डिफ्रेन्ट इन्डिभिजुअल्स हु आर इन्भल्भ इन दिस राइट एउटा भनेको मेम्बर्स इन नेसनल एसेम्ब्ली मेम्बर्स इन हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स होइन तर यो बिल फिर्ता लिने अथोरिटी कोसँग छ दुईजना इन्डिभिजुअल्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर मिनिस्टर अफ कम्युनिकेसन एन्ड इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी दुईजना राइट दिज आर द पिपल हु क्यान गो एन्ड बी लाइक यु नो वाट we take this bill back भनेर in a sense कि like the PM has to tell the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology किनभने त्यहाँबाट आउँछ but because PM can do that PM and both of them right now एउटा भनेको यो दुईजनाको फोन नम्बर्स पब्लिक छ उहाँहरूको इमेल्स पब्लिक छ उहाँहरूको मिनिस्ट्रीकोहरू पब्लिक छ यु क्यान लिटरली जस्ट पिक द फोन अप एन्ड कल है अर यु क्यान जस्ट लिभ टेक्स्ट होइन अर लिभ एन इमेल वाट एभर जस्ट लाइक हुन्छ नि खासै गर्नु पर्दैन कि अल फ्रेन्ड्स इफ सर्टन नम्बर अफ फ्रेन्ड्सहरू छ 10जना हुनुहुन्छ भने पनि 10जना मात्र भयो भने सँगै बसेर यु नो वाट वे गोइङ टु सेन्ड दिस भनेर इफ यु जस्ट डु द्याट 10-10-10को ग्रुप्समा इफ वी डु एज फ्रेन्ड्स केही न केही त हुन्छ नि त होइन अफ्टन टाइम्स लाइक रनिङ यता सुमना श्रेष्ठ सेक्रेटेरिएटमा ब्याकग्राउन्डबाट हेर्दाखेरि हामीलाई कति धेरै स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूको इमेल्सहरू आउँथ्यो कि ओभर 100 इमेल्स के एन्ड द्याट इज अ भेरी वेल डन क्याम्पेन हो कि किनभने द्याट इज हाउ यु प्रेसराइज कि अब अफकोर्स वी डु चेक आवर इमेल्स भेरी रेगुलरली द्याट्स अ होल डिफ्रेन्ट थिङ होइन बट देयर इज स्टिल दिज एभेन्युज अफ सेन्डिङ कल्स फोन टेक्स्टिङ हुन्छ नि वाट्सएप गरे पनि भयो नेपाल बाहिर हुनुहुन्छ भने होइन इमेल्स गरे पनि भयो वाट एभर अल अफ द्याट के अनि अर्को भनेको मेम्बर्स अफ नेसनल एसेम्ब्ली र मेम्बर्स अफ हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स सबै मेम्बर्स अफ पार्लियामेन्ट प्रेसराइज देम टु स्पिक अबाउट इट के एन्ड स्पेसली अझ यो कमिटीको मान्छेहरू के यो के अरे नेसनल एसेम्ब्लीको लेजिस्लेसन कमिटी भयो त्यो कमिटीमा चाहिँ त्यो कमिटीको मेम्बर्सहरूलाई पनि उहाँहरूको पनि सब कुरा डिटेल्सहरू एभ्रिथिङ इज अनलाइन na.parliament.gov.np मा त्यसमा नेसनल एसेम्ब्लीको भयो यता hr.parliament.gov.np मा के सो दिज आर टु इमेल्स वेयर यु क्यान फाइन्ड कमिटीको डिटेल्स त्यही हुन्छ कमिटीको डिटेल्स पाइसकेपछि कमिटीको मेम्बर्सको नाम पनि त्यही हुन्छ उहाँहरूको फोन नम्बर्स पनि त्यही हुन्छ अनि टेलिफोन डिरेक्टरी पनि पब्लिकली अभाइलेबल छ के सो टेलिफोन डिरेक्टरीमा यु क्यान गेट एभ्रिबडिज इमेल्स एज वेल के सो एक लेभलको प्रेसराइजिङ त्यो फ्रन्टबाट भयो पेटिसन साइन गर्नु इज गुड पेटिसन साइन गर्नु इज राम्रो किनभने सबैजना गएर एट दिस पोइन्ट मिनिस्ट्रीमा पुगिरहन सक्दैन सबैजना इन पर्सन प्रेजेन्ट हुन सक्दैन राइट सो त्यो पेटिसन देयर आर दिज अर्गनाइजर्स हु आर टेकिङ दिज पेटिसन्स एन्ड दे देमसेल्भ्स आर गोइङ एन्ड रेजिस्टरिङ इट एन्ड दे आर सेइङ दिज मेनी पिपल हेभ साइन्ड इट they've actually done that and they've done that especially isko example and a very one of the on the path of being success एक किसिमले अलरेडी सक्सेसफुल पनि भनौँ इज लाइक क्यानको स्प्लिट गर्ने बिल के वेन वी रेज द कन्सर्न्स अबाउट लाइक यो एयरप्लेनको क्रासेसहरूको बेलामा प्लेनको क्रासेसको बेलामा क्यान स्प्लिट हुनुपर्छ भन्ने डिमान्ड कहिलेदेखि हो के तर बिकज एक लेभलको मोमेन्टम पनि त्यो बेला ठ्याक्क क्याचअप भयो पेटिसन पनि साइन भयो लट अफ पिपल साइन द पेटिसन एज वेल एन्ड the organizers took the petition, they went up to the ministries, they had conversations with CANको head, with the ministers, they've met the prime minister multiple times हुन्छ नि अनि अहिले क्यान स्प्लिट गर्ने बिल्सहरू आइसकेको छ के सो we should हुन्छ नि पेटिसन साइन गर्ने त मोस्ट मिनिमल थिङ हो नि त गर्नलाई त्यति गर्न पनि we as young people need convincing त अनि so yeah I think कि like phone texting यताउति पार्ट भयो but as we see all of these procedures को कुरा हिजो मलाई एकजना टेस्ट shared their instance कि they were like hi दिदी मैले त्यो के प्राइम मिनिस्टर अफिसमा कल गरेको थिएँ and then I called them and I told them मैले सामाजिक सञ्जाल बिलको बारेमा कुरा गर्नु छ भनेर and suddenly they just didn't want to talk अरे कि they're like थाहा छ तपाईँको इस्यु के हो भने यस्तो रुडली कुरा गर्यो भनेर भन्यो कि that is the reality के that if you pick up the call and if you call they are going to be rude don't expect them to be nice they're like ल म भन्छु भनेर फोन राख्यो I felt really bad भन्यो कि that is the government that is the generation those are the people that we are fighting against we need to accept it that it's going to be tough it's not going to be easy and if we want to make sure that this is the country and this is the environment that we want to live in we need to be ready for this fight and honestly there is nobody who is going to come by Rabata and be like oh you know what I will take this fight for you okay if we don't do it ourselves and we need to do it in घरमा conversations गरेर हुन्छ कि पेरेन्ट्सहरूको पनि कति धेरै पोलिटिकल एफिलिएसन्स हुन्छ नि टकिङ टु देम हुन्छ कि घरमा ब्युरोक्राट्स छ भने टकिङ टु देम हुन्छ कि लाइक वाट क्यान वी एज इन्डिभिजुअली डु विदिन आवर ओन सर्कल्स अफ इन्फ्लुएन्स द्याट इज अल्सो समथिङ द्याट वी निड टु बी वेरी अबाउट के
अनि अर्को कुरा भनेको अब वाट वुड बी द बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो होइन अब नेक्स्ट if let's suppose the bill is really going to be passed होइन what's the best case scenario अनि तपाईँले हाम्रो कन्भर्सेसनमा भनेको जस्तै that we need to हुन्छ नि जुन चाहिँ ask छ नि हाम्रो त्यो पनि राइट हुनु पर्यो because they can just manipulate the bill being like यसमा चेन्ज गरेको छ अनि just pass it so हामीले ask गर्ने चाहिँ के हो एक्चुअलमा होइन त्यो बिलमा चाहिँ एक्चुअल के हुनुपर्छ जस्तो मैले that's my question to you
so first is literally take the bill back किनभने यस्तो के भ्रष्टाचार निवारण ऐनको हामीले प्रिभेन्सन अगेन्स्ट करप्सन बिल हो के त्यसमा विड बिन एकदमै नै डिमान्ड गरिरहेको भनेको हामीले नीतिगत निर्णयको परिभाषा के एकदम लाउडली यताउति हुन्छ नि देयर आर मेनी एक्स ब्युरोक्राट्स हु लाउडली रिटन अबाउट इट एभ्री इयर CIA यो कमिसन अफ इन्भेस्टिगेसन अगेन्स्ट अब्युज अफ अथोरिटी अख्तियारको प्रतिवेदनमा एभ्री इयर आउँछ कि नीतिगत निर्णयको परिभाषा चाहियो उनीहरूले लमा हाल्छ त हाल्दैन आज भर्खर अहिले बिहान भर्खर आई वाज चेकिङ द प्रतिवेदन किनभने द्याट बिल इज गोइङ टु बी आज पास गरौँ भनेर आउँछ के हाउस अफ रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्समा तर अहिले पनि डिस्पाइट देम उनीहरूको आफै एन्टिटीले राखेको हो नि त कमिसनले एभ्री इयर राखेको नि तर पनि दे हेभन्ट इन्क्लुडेड इट के नीतिगत निर्णयको परिभाषा हालेको छैन विच इज टु से कि अहिले पनि एज मच एज वी से कि यो कुरा हाल्दैन क्या मैले के भन्न खोजेको भन्दाखेरि एज मच एज वी से यो अमेन्ड गर आई डोन्ट ट्रस्ट देम टु डु इट आई मिन प्रोबेबली देयर आर पिपल हु ट्रस्ट देम टु डु इट बट आई पर्सनली डोन्ट सो द फर्स्ट एन्ड one demand that we need to constantly say is to withdraw the bill. Literally withdraw the bill. But having said that, let's think about हुन्छ नि कि लाइक अमेन्डमेन्टको हिसाबले के सोच्ने भनेको anonymous accounts को कुरा. Do we want to let anonymous accounts or not? I would say yes. Punishments को कुराहरू are those punishments proportionate or not? अनि अघि मैले भने जस्तो should we not instead give a list of words or like list of phrases that we don't want to see? होइन अनि अर्को कुरा भनेको स्पेसली से पोलिटिकल फिगर्स आर पब्लिक फिगर्स हु आर अलरेडी स्क्रुटिनाइज्ड अ लट के सो वाट लेभल अफ स्क्रुटिनी डु वी पुट देम इन उहाँहरूको बारेमा लेख्ने भर्सेस कुनै पनि जेनरल पब्लिकको बारेमा स्ल्यान्डरस रूपमा लेख्ने के वाट इज स्ल्यान्डर एन्ड वाट इज लाइबल भन्ने कुरा फुल्ली प्रपरली डिफाइन्ड पनि हुनुपर्छ कि एन्ड आई थिङ्क यो रिलेटेड ल पनि छ तर यसको बारेमा आई थिङ्क लयर्स माइट बी द बेटर वान्स हु सुड स्पिक अन इट होइन बट अनि मोर अफ सेफ एन्ड सिक्योर इन्भाइरोमेन्ट गर्ने भने ल डिफ्रेन्ट प्लेटफर्म्सहरूले डेटा एन्ड प्राइभेसी राइट रिलेटेड कुराहरूको डकुमेन्ट्सहरू सब्मिट गर्नुपर्छ भन्यो कि वाट इज द रुब्रिक अन वाट बेसिस आर यु गोइङ टु एनालाइज इट होइन वाट इज द डिटेल अफ युजर डेटा द्याट यु आर गोइङ टु आस्क फ्रम प्लेटफर्म्स टु द एक्सटेन्ट टु विच यु आर गोइङ टु गो अबाउट इट राइट सो देयर आर various of these things that we need to be concerned about, we need to be demanding, we need to be looking at pani ke and at this point I genuinely urge everybody to read the bill, literally read the bill kinabhane yesto ho ke we think laws are made, कसैले आएर बनाइदिने होइन नि त, ल त जनताले बनाउने हो नि त, ल त people like us, the public is making the law. एक किसिमले we elect representatives so that they make law on behalf of us, okay? तर it is also our duty to say hello, no, that's wrong भनेर भन्ने त हाम्रो पनि ड्युटी हो नि त. So like, yes, अहिलेसम्म बिल पढेको छैन, it's okay, it's fine, सुरु गर्न सकिन्छ के. We can start with this because we understand social media. This is a territory which is familiar to us. We grew up with it. We live in it. We exist in it, right? So we should start reading it. And सँगै ग्रुप्समै बसेर ल यो यसमा त यस्तो भनेको छ, what does it mean हुन्छ नि. If you have a friend who understands the law, ask them to help you understand what it means as well. Okay? So take this also as this you're into how parliament processes work as well. Okay?
हजुर हजुर हजुर. अनि विनायक दाइले पनि उहाँको भिडियोमा पनि अब फर द पिपल यस्तो नि हुनसक्छ भनेपछि इक्जाम्पल्स नि दिएको छ कि इफ लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक सेयर गरेर नि दुःख पाएको मान्छेहरू पनि छ क्या यो यस्तो खालको ऊ भएर. अनि त्यसपछि अर्को कुरा के भन्दाखेरि उनीहरूले अब कहिलेकाहीँ तपाईँले भनेपछि मिम अनि यो आर्टिस्टिक मिमिक्रीहरू इज अ फर्म अफ एक्सप्रेसन भन्छु, किनकि पहिलादेखि हिस्ट्री हेऱ्यो भने यो मिम्सहरू युज गरेको हुन्छ फर टु स्पिक अप होइन, किनकि डाइरेक्टली कसैले स्पिक गर्न सक्दैन थियो त्यो पालिमा हिस्टोरिकली. अनि मिम्स फनी यो के भन्छ मिमिक्रीहरूले चाहिँ इट हेल्प एज अ फ्रिडम अफ स्पिच नै भनौँ त्यो पालिको लागि होइन. सो त्यही कुरा अब जस्तै बच्चा बच्चीहरूले रमाइलो लाग्छ भनेर लाइक सेयर गरेर नै संजोगले नै उनीहरू जेल जान सक्छ भए चाहिँ आई थिङ्क इट्स भेरी मच प्रब्लमेटिक टु एन इन्डिभिजुअल एज वेल, नट जस्ट क्रिएटर जसले सामाजिक सञ्जालमा आफ्नो भिडियो बनाउँछ उनीहरूलाई मात्रै प्रब्लमेटिक होइन कि एक इन्डिभिजुअल जसले लाइक सेयर गर्छ फलो गर्छ मान्छेहरूले उनीहरूलाई पनि संजोगले जेल जान सक्छ, पेनाल्टी लाग्न सक्छ.
Let's imagine a world without meme pages, right? Let's imagine a world where none of the YouTube media existed, nothing existed, okay? हामीले सोसल स्टडिजमा पढ्दा, एटलिस्ट मैले पढ्दाखेरि करिकुलममा के थियो भने हामीले नेपालको हिस्ट्री पढ्दा राणाकालको हिस्ट्री पढ्यो नि त. त्यसमा यो राणाले यो गर्यो, यो राणाले यो गर्यो, यो राणाले यो गर्यो, उसले सती प्रथा हटायो, उसले नयाँ स्कुल्सहरू खोल्यो, उसले नयाँ हाइड्रो पावर गर्यो, सबै लेखाएको थियो कि. त्यो सोसल स्टडिज बुकमा कतै पनि जनतालाई भएको अत्याचारको बारेमा लेखेको थिएन के. स्योर म्यासेकरको बारेमा पढ्यो, तर जुन किसिमको पोभर्टीमा मान्छे बाँचिरहेको थियो, जुन किसिमको इन्भाइरोमेन्टमा मान्छे बाँचिरहेको थियो, त्यो कहिले पनि लेखेन के. त्यो भनेको हामीलाई डेलिबरेटली स्कुल एजुकेसनको स्कुलको सिस्टमबाट इन्फर्मेसन नदिएको हो नि त. अनि अहिले विदाउट दिज पेजेस, विदाउट दिज प्लेटफर्म्स, वुड वी इभन नो? वी वुड नट. द सिम्पल आन्सर इज वी वुड नट. किनभने अर्को कुरा इज एज मच एज लाइक आइभ अलवेज बिन अ भेरी लाइक समबडी वान्टेड टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड वाट्स गोइङ अन इन नेपाल, बट त्यो नेपालीको वर्डै बुझ्थेन, के भनेकै बुझ्थेन. त्यो सिम्प्लिफाई कसले गरिदियो त हामीलाई? थिएन नि त. त्यही सिम्प्लिफाई गरिदिनलाई त देयर वाज सो मेनी कन्टेन्ट क्रिएटर्स हु आइडेन्टिफाइड अ ग्याप एन्ड हु रियलाइज देयर आर पिपल हु वान्ट टु नो अबाउट देयर कन्ट्री, हु वान्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड वाट द हिस्ट्री इज, हु वान्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड वाट द प्रब्लम्स आर. त्यो भएकोले त यो प्लेटफर्म्स राइज पनि भयो, वाइ पिपल वान्ट टु वाच देयर भिडियोज पनि. अनि त्यो कम्प्लिटली कट अफ गर्ने, त्यो कम्प्लिटली इन द नेम अफ सबै टु मच आई डोन्ट नो वाट एभर दे कुड से, दे कुड फाइन्ड एनी सोर्ट अफ रिजन, सार्वभौम सत्ताको विरोधमा गयो होइन, जे भन्दा पनि भइदियो नि त एट दिस पोइन्ट. अनि त्यो भनेर नगर्दाखेरि त वुड वी एभर नो एनिथिङ भन्ने कुरा हो कि. एन्ड गोज ब्याक टु द पोइन्ट द्याट यु सेड अबाउट राइट टु इन्फर्मेसन. वुड वी इभन ह्याभ एनी राइट टु इन्फर्मेसन? ठिक छ, गोपनीयताको हकको कुरा गर्नुभएको छ एक किसिमले संवैधानिक अवधारणाका कुराहरू गर्दाखेरि, तर त्यो त त्यही लिमिट भयो नि त. इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्दाखेरि रियालिटीमा हाउ आर यु टेलिङ मी कि मेरो डेटा एन्ड प्राइभेसी राइट्स इज गोइङ टु बी सेक्युर्ड? फ्रम अल द्याट आई सी इज इट इज नट गोइङ टु बी. How are you going to say कि मेरो freedom of expression and freedom of speech is going to be secure? From all that I see, it's not going to be. Yeah.
अनि अब जस्तै प्यारेन्ट्सहरूले जुन जुन कन्ज्युम गर्छ, बिकज आई नो अ लट अफ प्यारेन्ट्स अल्सो कन्ज्युम यो के भन्छ म्यासकर कसरी भयो होइन, अनि दिस कन्टेन्ट द्याट पोलिटिकल कन्टेन्ट. अनि त्यसपछि अब चाहिँ वेन दोज क्रिएटर्स हु क्रिएट दोज थिङ टु गेट यु इन्फर्मेसन होइन, अब त्यो क्रिएटर्सहरूलाई किन बचाउनु पर्छ त होइन फर्स्ट. अनि सेकेन्ड भनेको यो क्रिएटर्सहरूलाई मैले जहाँसम्म सोचेको छु अथवा पिपल आई हेभ बिन विथ, I know that they already were targeted before this bill होइन. यो इन केसेस छ कसरी टार्गेट गरेको चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै भन्नु मिल्दैन तर दे वर टार्गेटेड होइन अनि यो बिल पास गरेर चाहिँ त्यसलाई अझै एउटा हुन्छ नि एक्सट्रिम भर्जनमा ल्याइदियो कि होइन अनि सो इफ यु क्यान एक्सप्लेन वाइ यो क्रिएटर्सहरू जसले हामीलाई इन्फर्मेसन दिइरहेको थियो उनीहरूलाई प्रोटेक्ट गर्न चाहिँ किन इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ भनेर
It's not just about creators like protect गर्ने के it's about because everybody is a creator in their own circles right not everybody watches Binayakko videos Sudipko videos Dipeshko videos and all right not everybody reads what I write right people write and express in their own circles it is about protecting everybody okay it is about protecting everybody's opinion everybody's right to criticize the government everybody's right to speak up against what they see is unjust unfair it is their right to create to you may disagree with what I'm saying that's completely fine but you should respect my right to say it bhanne okay and yes creators have been putting in a lot of effort in producing these contents right त्यो भनेको त it is a something that everybody needs to introspect on ल यिनीहरू नभएको भए मेरो source of information के हुन्थ्यो do I have the time to sit and read the books would books only be my source of information would newspapers only be my information at this point we know how biased the traditional media is and maybe many other medias how there's a lot of political affiliation within media platforms itself right so at what point and where do we find that unbiased platform for information पनि के so it's something that everybody needs to introspect yeah
अनि I was talking to other creators अनि उनीहरूले चाहिँ के भन्यो भने when TikTok was banned it was kind of like a first world problem भन्यो कि कोही पनि निस्केन जुनुस गरेन किनकि उसले चाहिँ उसको पर्सपेक्टिभ चाहिँ के थियो भने यो फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड प्रब्लम जस्तै हो भनेर अनि उसले के भन्यो भने यो सोसियल मिडिया पनि त्यस्तै हो कि भनेर भन्यो बट आई थिङ्क इट वाज भेरी रङ हुन्छ नि यो दिस इज नट अ फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड प्रब्लम इट वाज अब कसरी भन्ने अब यो सानो पपुलेसन होइन नेपाल एज अ होललाई इफेक्ट गर्छ होइन सो यो इफेक्ट अलिकति तपाईँले राम्रोसित बुझाइदिनु वेयर जस्ट नट जस्ट सानो इन्डिभिजुअल्सलाई होइन इट्स जस्ट नट अ फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड प्रब्लम इट्स अ प्रब्लम वेयर नेपालको अर्को साइडलाई पनि अफेक्ट गर्छ एज वेल एज काठमाडौँ इट्सल्फ
It's very interesting to hear that people have said that this was the first world problem के सो त्यो बेलाको पनि we need to understand कि त्यो बेलामा टिकटक किन ब्यान गर्यो भनेर के त्यो बेलामा टिकटक ब्यान गर्ने वान अफ द मेजर रिजन्स वाज दुर्गा प्रसाईको आन्दोलन भइरहेको थियो दुर्गा प्रसाईले आन्दोलन कल गर्ने बेलामा all of the planning and everything and communication was happening via TikTok they wanted to stop that platform that is what that was the reason that I saw that was the reason that I witnessed होइन one good thing that came out of it was TikTok has been registered in Nepal. Is that the way that they should have done? Probably not, right? Oily, why is the bill coming? Is to curtail all sorts of alternative forces that come against these 3 to 4 people who keep running different political parties. के उनीहरूलाई नयाँ अल्टरनेटिभ फोर्सेस ल्याउनु नै छैन के होइन त्यो राइज हुन दिनु नै छैन के त्यो भनेको र नयाँ अल्टरनेटिभ फोर्सेस राइज नहुनु भनेको के हो त इट इज टु कन्टिन्यू बिङ रुल्ड बाई द सेम पिपल फर अनदर आई डोन्ट नो हाउ मेनी years decades let's say if their health supports them भनौँ न but it's whole यो this curtailing is not just तिमीले बोल्न पाएन यो गर्न पाएन होइन क्या यो भनेको तिमीले अब अर्को चुनावमा अरू मान्छे पाउँदैनौ तिमीले यही मान्छेलाई भोट हाल्नुपर्छ तिमीले पाएको नेपाल यही नै हो तिमीले पाएको लिडर्स यही नै हो तिमी जसरी पनि जता गएर पनि तिमीले सम सोर्ट अफ पोलिटिकल अफिलिएसन लिनै पर्छ इन अर्डर टु गेट एनिथिङ डन होइन भने लिभ द कन्ट्री बट इभन इफ यु लिभ हामी तिमीलाई इमिग्रेसनमा पनि दुःख दिन्छौँ हामी तिमीलाई बाहिर गएर नेपालमा पैसा पठाउने हो भने पनि दुःख दिन्छौँ हामी तिमी नेपाल फर्केर आउने हो भने पनि दुःख दिन्छौँ That is the whole plan. That is how I see it.
बाहिर गएर बोल्यो भने पनि रेड नोटिस जारी गरिदिन्छु अनि त्यतिकै नै प्रब्लम
like think about it right त्यो रतन कार्कीको भिडियो no I don't know if there was an official proper complaint that against him and everything and if he was tortured that way but like the fact that that is a possibility
Yeah.
is scary, okay? Just because he made a meme out of it. It was a meme, literally a meme, okay? But yeah,
त किनकि तपाईँ हामी जसले कन्टेन्ट हेरेको थियो आम प्रिटी स्योर दे वर 100% अवेयर द्याट रतन वाज जस्ट मेकिङ अ जोक
exactly. And we laughed at it and सक्यो.
नोबडी टुक इट सिरियसली तर ऊ चाहिँ के गरिदियो भने द पोसिबिलिटी द्याट बाहिर बसेर पनि इफ युआर अ नेपाली सिटिजन यु माइट गेट हुन्छ नि सम हाउ टार्गेटेड इफ यु स्पिक अप भन्ने नट जस्ट नेपालको मात्रै होइन इफ युआर नेपाली सिटिजनसिप आई थिङ्क यु सुड केयर अबाउट दिस बिल भनेर चाहिँ म भन्छु जस्तो लाग्छ अनि अब लास्टली अब यो बिलको बारेमा चाहिँ अब वाट स्निकी वेज क्यान the people at parliament अथवा parliament नभनौँ let's question this a bit राम्रोसित people in power होइन authoritative figuresहरूले what can the steps they do to sneakily like हुन्छ नि अब sneakily भनौँ न make the bill pass भनौँ न
सिम्पल आन्सर थकाउँछ. सो एउटा कुरा कि हाम्रो अटेन्सन स्प्यान कति छोटो छ के भन न. नेक्स्ट लेभल छोटो छ क्या हाम्रो अटेन्सन स्प्यान. यसको फाइदा उठाउँछ के इन अ सेन्स द्याट के अरे अहिले सबले सोसियल मिडिया बिल गरिरहेको छ. एभ्रिबडी विल बी लाइक ओ सोसियल मिडिया बिल. 2 हप्तापछि इफ एभ्रिबडी काम्स डाउन बिर्सिदिन्छ के. अनि जब हामी बिर्सिन्छ नि त्यो बेलामा दे विल सटली ब्रिङ इट इन एन्ड दे विल पास इट. द्याट्स हाउ दे डु इट. विच इज हाम्रो thing that we need to be prepared for is to say कि you know what, we are not going to forget this. We will keep asking you about this. We will keep following this. And every step of the way, I will not say कि like अब पुग्यो म सेयर गर्दिनँ के गर्नु पर्छ के. किनभने अघि मैले भने जस्तो फोन कल गऱ्यो भने थर्काउँछ. सर्टेन टाइम पछि उनीहरूले यो सबजना यिनीहरूको यो सब हाइप हो. एउटा सर्टेन टाइमसम्म यिनीहरूले चिरबिर गर्छ अनि त्यसपछि तिनीहरू सेलाउँछ एन्ड देन विल डु वाट वी वान्ट टु हो. स्ट्राटेजी नै त्यही हो. सिम्पल होइन. अनि विभ सिन दिस ह्यापन कतिचोटि कि. एन्ड बाई विभ आई मिन बिकज पार्लियामेन्ट्री प्रोसेसमा काम गरेर चाहिँ कति कुरामा यसरी नै उनीहरूले गरिरहेको छ. जस्तै इकमर्स बिल रिलेटेड भनौँ न. इकमर्स बिलको बारेमा पनि लाइक त्यसमा पनि कति धेरै प्रब्लमेटिक कुराहरू कि. जस्तै अब इफ एभ्री अनलाइन प्लेटफर्म सो इफ म घर बसेर मैले क्रोसे गरेको सानो सानो केही कुराहरू बनाएर इन्स्टाग्रामबाट बेचिरहेको छु भने म पनि रेजिस्टर हुन जानुपर्ने खालको कुराहरू के. अनि मैले पनि ग्रिभेन्स मेकानिजम कुराहरू मैले पनि राख्नुपर्ने खालको कुराहरू. त्यो भनेको त म एउटा स्मल बिजनेसले त मैले ग्रिभेन्स मेकानिजम त्यो सब गर्न मैले भ्याउँछु त होइन. अथवा मसँग त्यो रिसोर्सेस छ त. लाइक हाउ विल यु क्रिएट. नेपालमा एकदम ओ वी विल प्रमोट अन्टरप्रेनरसिप याडा 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 वाट एभर. तर यस्तो यस्तो बिल ल्याएर विल इट प्रमोट अन्टरप्रेनरसिप होइन. अनि यस्तो यस्तो कुराहरू उनीहरूले सुरुमा हाइपअप हुन्छ. एभ्रिबडी स्पिक्स अगेन्स्ट. अनि पछि बिस्तारै बिकज द प्रोसेस इज लङ एज वेल बाई नेचर अफ इट वी सोर्ट अफ फर्गेट कि. अनि जब हामीले यसलाई अहिलेलाई यति यहाँ पुगेको छ यसलाई अमेन्डमेन्ट यहाँ पुगेको छ भने हामी त्यहाँ छोडिदियो भने कताबाट कता प्रोसेस पुगेर आइहाल्न सक्छ कि.
सो लेट मी अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड दिस अनि रिफ्रेज इट अलिकति राम्रोसित. सो उनीहरूले चाहिँ उनीहरूको स्ट्राटेजी चाहिँ नर्मली के हुन्छ भने 1-2 महिना सोसियल मिडिया बिलको बारेमा कुरा हुन्छ. त्यो कुरा तात्तिन्छ उनीहरूलाई थाहा छ. सो एज किनकि बिलको लागि आई थिङ्क 6 महिना टु 1 वर्ष पनि लाग्न सक्छ पास हुनलाई. या मोर देन द्याट अल्सो होइन. सो त्यो टाइम पिरियडमा कुरा सेलाइसकेपछि चाहिँ सुटुक्क पार्लियामेन्टमा त्यो राखेर त्यसलाई पास गर्न देयर इज अ ह्युज प्रोबेबिलिटी. सो दे माइट युज यो स्ट्राटेजी टु पास द बिल.
सो सुटुक्क भन्ने चाहिँ भन्न ठ्याक्क मिल्दैन होइन. तर कस्तो भने नि प्रोसेस उनीहरूले पुर्याउँछ के. तर प्रोसेसमा कसैले सेड लाइट गरेन भने जस्तै सिम्पल इक्जाम्पल हिजो नो नेक्स्ट क्वेसनले होइन के अरे पृथ्वी सुब्बा गुरुङले टेबल गरिसक्यो भनेर नहालेको भए थाहा हुँदैन थियो नि त होइन. त्यो भनिदिने मान्छे त चाहियो नि त. त्यो भनिदिने मान्छे हुँदैन भनेको के. किनभने भनिदिने मान्छे किन हुँदैन भन्दाखेरि त्यो पोइन्टमा maybe I want to be paying attention, maybe somebody else want to be paying attention, maybe as general publicले पनि त्यो everyday parliamentary calendar गरेर त हेरिरहेको हुँदैन. So because of the fact that the moment that we're not paying attention भन्ने कुराहरू हुन्छ उनीहरूले आफ्नो प्रोसेस पुरै मिलाएर गर्छ कि. तर it often comes at a point where we have paid attention to the point where we're like you know what छोड्दै अहिलेलाई इट्स फाइन भनेर हामीले छोडेर जुन त्यो मोमेन्टमा वी वुड हेभ जस्ट लुजन्ड अप नि त्यो बेलामा इट विल कम इन एन्ड देन इट विल कम एन्ड वी वन्ट इभन रियलाइज देव मेट एभ्री लिटल थिङ द्याट दे निड टु डु. बट इट्स जस्ट वी आर सो एक्जस्टेड इमोसनली मेन्टली एभ्रिथिङ. We're so fatigued by the whole situation कि like we won't have the energy to pursue it हुन्छ के and they will take us to the point where we won't have that energy and then they will do it के
अनि अर्को एउटा के क्वेसन भनेपछि मलाई मान्छेहरूले सोधिरहेको थियो अब यो जुन चाहिँ बिल कुरा भयो अब यो बिल लेट्स सपोज पास भइसकेपछि बल्ल त्यो अब जस्तै त्यो डेटदेखिको कन्टेन्टहरूलाई हुने हो कि त्योभन्दा अगाडिको पनि हुनसक्छ
ल कहिले पनि पछाडि गएर लागू हुँदैन त्यो लागू भएको डेटभन्दा अगाडिदेखि हुँदैन अनलेस इट इज भेरी स्पेसिफाइड सर्टेन गभर्मेन्टको कति प्रोभिजन्सहरूमा हुन्छ कि यो टाइमदेखि नियुक्ति भएको मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ यो लागू हुन्छ भन्ने समथिङ होइन तर त्यो अफ्टन ब्युरोक्रेट्सको उसमा हुन्छ होइन भने ल चाहिँ त्यो ब्याक ट्र्याक भएर लागू हुँदैन कि सो त्यो डेटबाट कन्टिन्यू हुन्छ
ए आई थिङ्क
बट ह्याभिङ सेड द्याट सपोज तिमीले एउटा कन्टेन्ट 1 वर्ष अगाडि राखेको छ कसैले त्यो बिल पास भएको भोलिपल्ट गएर लाइक गर्यो भने त्यो मान्छे पर्यो कि परेन त द्याट इज द क्वेसन के अब
ए सो त्यो पनि हुन पायो पोसिबिलिटिज वे ब्याक नि हुन पायो
वी डोन्ट नो
I think thank you so much यति हो that this has been a really good conversation होइन to shed light on all the things we discussed and I hope that we keep on just हुन्छ नि publishing these information so that till the end we get a really good conclusion and त्यसपछि I hope I didn't miss anything that we had to speak about.
No, all good. I hope I covered what you wanted to cover.
Yeah, surely. So Parakram, thank you so much for doing this. And then I want to start off this conversation with what you felt about the social media bill first while you read that bill.
You know, when I was reading the social media bill, I was already fearing for the worst because there was already a directive for managing the use of social network that had come into 2023, which had ultimately led to the ban of TikTok. And they were already speaking about controlling and bringing changes to social media platforms to further, help the government itself. And this media bill, when I was reading about it, I was like, this can't be right. There were so many things. There's so much given. I feel like reading the whole social media bill, it gives a lot of power to the government to be able to control what is shown to the public here. And that's the essence of social media, is of democracy, and not being able to speak and say things without it being censored is like something we're losing a lot of our freedom.
What message do you have for our fellow creators who are creating content and who aren't much really speaking about it and who haven't really read about the bill?
I wonder, do they not know the implications this could have on them, especially for content creators, because they rely on content creation. Yes, their mode of content could be something completely different from speaking about politics and about the rights of people, but this could really affect them in terms of what they can say. I feel like many content creators feel it won't affect us. We are still going to do entertainment. We're going to do fashion. We're going to do dancing and singing, and it's not going to affect us. In fact, we should keep quiet. But the whole point of people being pressured into keeping quiet is a scary thing in itself. Honestly, I also am a little scared. What am I going to say? Is this going to go against me now that the social media bill is being planned? There are already other bills that are already effective. So it's a scary time, and it's also sad to see that content creators aren't speaking up because it's for the people. Yes, you have a platform which follows you, loves you, and your content is not political, which is very similar to mine. My content is not political, but as and when injustices, things are not right happens, we want to speak up as the youth of our nation, as content creators, as influencers that people term us as. That voice will be lost. We will never be able to speak out against anything that is, unjust. I mean, we could, but it could face with a lot of backlash with all the penalties and fines that we see in the new social media bill. It's good enough to silence us.
And I also want to talk about what unusual things did you see about this bill, and what can you say to the people who are actually watching this in short form as well? What are the unusual bills that will affect them?
So, with this social media bill coming into implementation, you as citizens of people, if you like forget comment, share, or repost, but even if you like a post that is against the national security of our country, you could get to jail. You could go to jail for up to, you can get fined up to 5 lakh rupees. You can go to jail up to 5 years just by liking a post. So even if you think that I'm not making content that is against the government or even protesting, if you even like a post like that, you could go to jail. Or even if your account doesn't have your real name and has any other word, any cute word or a different name that you want to name your profile, you could land into a lot of trouble. So this is just the basis of the many injustices that are in the social media bill. So it's really important for all of you to protest, act up. If you follow my post, there are ways on how you can respond to the social media bill.
True. And I think I want to bring this up. Recently, the news of India's Got Latent show, right? The thing really escalated to a point where we could see how it like that can have a ripple effect on Nepal as well, because
Yeah.
as you can see, the social media bill also takes reference from India in itself. So if we could if India somehow takes restricts those comedy, restricts people speaking up, or do something in comedy, I think that might get influenced by Nepal, and then maybe this bill could also have a ripple effect.
For sure. I feel like Nepal is very heavily influenced by India, not only in terms of culture, but also laws and practices. I think we see the Indian laws and legislations as a blueprint for us to follow. And because of that, it's very scary. I mean, seeing what's happening in India has got latent, the unnecessary over attention and people getting so upset. I think there's so many more important things like governance and how the countries function and the air pollution in the country that should be of focus rather than what one YouTuber has said, which, yeah, may be wrong, but he's apologized, so move on, you know?
Yeah. Even to a point where we can see like how creators will get affected, and then it's like nobody's there to help them out. It's just everybody, maybe also bubbling it up, and then but at the same time nobody's backing up these creators. Once people who sided with them are now even not speaking about them, right? So
Yeah.
this might even happen in Nepal, where once one creator has been silenced, now nobody has to say anything, right? We could
Yeah.
see this effect.
Yeah, so that is the most scariest part. Even as a content creator, I tell myself I'm always alone. I may have friends, but when something goes wrong, if I get into trouble, no one's going to come and back you up. But now with the social media bill and with laws also giving you penalties, there's no way anyone's going to come and support you. So you are for yourself. And this is scary in itself because who has come up and really, like the powerful people come up and shown support for Ranveer, saying that it's unnecessary. It's the smaller creators who have an opinion. The big people haven't come up and spoken up. This has happened in the case of like even when it comes to film actors, their fellow actors haven't come up and spoken up when the whole nation is going and hating against them and when the law is also trying to penalize them. So it's very scary because then you have no support, not by the law, not by the people. People are scared. In any ways, people aren't speaking much in our country. We need to speak more there. It's great to see YouTubers, who are being responsible and speaking up. But I don't see much from Instagram, TikTok as much as there should be. It should be the talk of the town, and we need to like speak up and make sure this bill doesn't get, passed without amendments and revisions.
Could you explain me a bit about the laws there in India versus Nepal, and how freedom of speech is different in these two countries?
I'm not too sure what India's social media bill is, but I'm pretty sure it is similar to what Nepal is getting into because a lot of creators, the big creators, benefit out of favoring the government or making them happy, as well as big actors. You see, they cannot openly backlash or say something against the government there, the ruling party there. That is also because the ruling government has a lot of support also. I mean, they have a majority. They're being voted And there is a lot of pragati going on in the country, as well as the injustices that from the ruling party. What the ruling party there has is like they use religion as a tool to gain power, and that really helps them for if and nationalism, which is also used here in Nepal. Nationalism, not religion, but nationalism is used here in Nepal also, saying that you are anti-national banera, they can just attack you if you go against the government. Here in Nepal, the case is not much because the governance is something which I feel people are dissatisfied about, because there isn't much happening in terms of development, in terms of growth in our country. People are migrating out of the country. The roads are still bad. Basic things are also not being done here in this country. So people are frustrated, and when we have to go and vote, it's between three parties. When RSP came, everyone gave RSP a vote, but that also went out of order. So we are willing to give people a new chance, but there isn't a platform for us to be able to vote for anyone new who's promising. So India has that support from their people, the ruling party. Here we don't have as much support because we are sick and tired of the government. We need changes, we need growth, we need development, which is not happening. So I feel like, what is the question? Did I divert?
Yeah, so like how different is India in comparison to Nepal in terms of freedom of speech and democracy?
I think we are getting very close to India, which is scary, because honestly, when 2020, when I came back to Nepal and now shifted base completely here to Nepal, in the last 5 years, the things that have been going on in the industry, I'm just like, I'm so happy I'm in Nepal where I can at least speak up. There, if you go or say anything against the government, you are out. And that is where we are heading to right now with this bill. We'll be out by the law. They'll catch us and they'll penalize us. Maybe the people won't come and attack us, but by law, they can completely, persecute us.
While you were in India, while you were working with actors, right? Did you see any kind of was there a kind of, where they had to, where they couldn't speak about a lot of things? And do you see while you were in Nepal, it's more like people can speak about themselves? Has that been a...
So see, people there are very diplomatic. Even before all these laws came, it's such a big population, and it's so... South Asia is very regressive in general, and just even let's say about queer issues, right? Very few actors openly speak up and support. Yes, from inside they may support, but they will never go out and speak up about something because they know they're going to get a lot of backlash. Here in Nepal, there are people who are scared, but I feel that Nepal is more accepting. The Hamro Janta is more accepting in general. They may troll you and hate you, but after a point, they move on. But at the same time, people voluntarily choose to be more careful here when they can raise a voice. I feel they have an option of raising a voice.
As a part of LGBTQI plus community, do you think this will more bond you in terms of speaking out?
I think the part about the social media bill is it will affect each and every individual who's speaking against malpractices or injustices going on in this country. If I speak about not being happy with the government's response to bringing same-sex marriage into legislation, I could get into trouble. For a woman to speak about the injustices about women in the parliament or just in the country, it could affect them. It could affect anyone who raises a voice against the system or against how the country is being functioned, because they can simply say it's a violation against national security or spreading hatred based on attacking the sovereignty of the country. It's more of an autocratic rule that we are establishing now with the social media bill, according to me.
And then, what did you see in terms of the bill, right? How the unusualness about the punishment, right? Is it do you think this? What have you seen in comparison to other bills that is really, problematic about this bill?
There was Akriti, my friend, who on social media, she posts things about the government. There's a page she also co-handles, that's How to Desh Vikas Pani.
Yeah.
They made a very interesting like eye-opening comparison between um, two of the laws of being broken and the punishment. So one, if you destroy or make illegal copies of government archival documents, which seems like that's a big offense, right? You get up to rupees 50,000 fine and up to 2 to 3 years in jail. But if you like, share, comment, post, repost against the government's national, against the government or against national interest, up to 5 lakhs fine and up to 5 years in jail. So it's when this comparison was made, I was like, yeah, this is crazy. It is an agenda that they are pushing to really scare people not to speak against. Because why would they give such hefty fines? Paila ko laws are already there. We already have a lot of laws which comes to cyber bullying, cyber attacks, hacking, things like which is, I think it's the Individual Privacy Act or a National Penal Code, even the Electronics Transaction Act. There are ways to already penalize people if they're doing something wrong in the digital media. But why have they come up with a new bill with even heftier fines and longer jail times? It's quite evident, according to me, that the government really wants to silence us and not get criticized.
So, how do you like if we see the history of Nepal, right? We've seen that when the ruling government or somebody who is authoritative figure cancel out all the things or all the platforms where we speak, I don't think development grows there, right? And then, what do you think might be the effect if this bill pass, from your perspective?
I think the government will get a huge leeway and get a lot of control over what they want to put out into people's feeds, as well as control any dissent against the government, which will further help strengthen them and will further help also when new contenders come. There could be propagandas against them. There could be ways to silence them. When we saw TikTok getting banned, it was Durga Prasad. He was gaining a lot of traction. Yes, I mean, I don't agree with him, and I guess it was dangerous what he was doing in many ways, but still, to be able to ban a whole platform because the government is scared, I feel if that was the reason for it to get banned, I feel it is like there are many things now the government can do with the social media bill.
Yeah, I think our democracy is special. Democracy is special because it leads people to have their own narratives, not just one set
Yes.
of narratives, right? And then we could see this if this bill passes, the narrative is controlled by the government, and our right to information might be diluted, which in
Yeah,
turn helps them to set a hero, let's suppose, good narrative about themselves that will, let's suppose, alter the elections as well. You know,
for sure.
could you
For sure.
explain this about elections as well? How this can affect the elections?
Yeah, so I feel like even the government has a lot of control over social media platforms also, because with this social media bill, there needs to be a person of contact from each social media. They need to register, and they have the right to tell the social media platforms what content they want removed, right? So during elections, this can be misused by the government just by saying it's against the national sovereignty. And the social media platforms will have to delete the videos that the government tells them to do because it's by law, and they don't want to be penalized a hefty fine also. So I feel like with elections coming, the control that the government can have through digital media is a lot. It also affects the freedom of press and what the press can also say. So they have full control if they want to. And in any ways, I feel like the government parties have been being voted one by one in a cycle of three. Or, anyways, they're going to be voted, but now they will make sure that they stay on with this. Because digital media, I think Nepal has realized the power of digital media, and especially in Nepal, also how it's grown and how opinions can be affected, changed, which is great because we have a platform to stay connected in every part of the country and be able to give information just through digital media, and they've used this as a tool to help them. I feel like this is definitely going to be very scary, and yeah, we lose our freedom of so many things.
And then I also wanted to, when, like, for example, they were coming up with this bill, and since this involves us as content creators, I don't see them, taking our opinions to, manage those bills and making these bills. So what do you think they should have done to actually, if their objective really was to have peace and harmony and get the betterment for the citizen, what they should have done to actually write this bill?
I think consultation is always very important for the government to take from people who are in the same field. The government of Nepal did invite a lot of creators, including me, for the National Day celebration. We were called to Singha Darbar. We were told about the event, and we created content for them. I was out of town, but I was also a part of it. Because I was out of town for work, I couldn't post content, but I was also a part of that whole. And there were a lot of content creators, influencers from all fields who've made a mark and were there, and what suggestions were taken for the National Day concert, which we gave. We gave our ideas in supporting the government to make the National Day a better day. In return, we also expect the government to come to us during such times and ask us how it is, because this affects us as well as the people of the country. They cannot just suddenly say, now we are going to stop you all from speaking. It goes both ways, I feel. And I feel like the fact that they didn't consult us, other, leaders and other people who are learned and educated about these matters have not been consulted is something that is not right, according to me.
And I think, yeah, government also, like, when we content creators also help them spread awareness in terms of voting, right, a while back. And then
Yeah.
while those things, creators do help in terms of spreading the information, because Nepal does heavily rely on information, and we as creators give information in a yeah, good manner, right? So I think, yeah,
Yeah.
as you said, it is very important for the government to actually come reach out to us when it's about us, when the whole bill is about the social media.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And then I also wanted to talk about a bit about, how the differences of a bit differences about India and Nepal in terms of how we approach democracy. And do you also feel that this bill is, this bill will make it worse than, India? Do you think something similar?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I got distracted because my battery is low.
Yeah, so I was the question my here is like, do you also see a difference, since we all talked about the difference? Do you think Nepal will be in a worse spot in terms of freedom of speech when this bill is passed in comparison to India?
It would be. I would think it would be as bad. It would be as bad for sure, where we will not be able to speak out against the government. That we'll have to see once the social media bill is passed, how strictly they go against the people who have dissent or are against what's going on with the ruling party. That's for us to find out, to be very honest. I hope, I'm not, I hope, I mean, I'm saying the government usually. Uh, Laws and legislations have not been able to be implemented successfully or effectively in the past in many other legislators. So we'll have to wait and watch to see how that affects the country's freedom. But it seems to me that it's going to be very similar to India. Hopefully not worse, but similar is only bad enough.
And I think that the reason that why we have to speak about it is because a lot of information that my parents consume are from, creators who are talking about Nepal, right? Because you can see brain drain is a huge problem. And then we could see that in YouTube the trend is like people do actually want to know more about Nepali politics and Nepali history, right? And
Yeah.
then those people who are actually speaking about these stuff, if they are silenced, I'm pretty sure that will be a devastated thing for a lot of people, and then it will just give another reason for youths to just go out and not give any kind of attention to Nepali politics.
Absolutely. I feel like the responsible youth that are growing up and want to be responsible and want to bring changes are going to feel like they've reached a dead end where there's going to be no support. There's going to be, in fact, they're going to get into trouble for speaking up or speaking anything against. And if that's the case, then the migration is even going to increase further. And we are just going to lose out on a huge chunk of youth, which is already out. The remaining youth who thought that they would come and contribute to our country may also leave. And that's going to be a huge loss to our country because Nepal is known to have a big youth population, but where are they? They're all out making a better life for themselves because here there are not much opportunities. Plus, there's no pragati happening, or very little pragati is happening. So it's very scary and sad. How is it going to play out? It's only for the future to know, but hoping for the best is all I can say about this.
Yeah, I think we can do two things. One, be aware till the end. We have to check up on this bill because a bill does, take a lot of time to actually process and then pass. And another, spread awareness as much as possible. And
Yeah.
today, I think I also saw people protesting, which was a bit relieving, right? That
Yeah.
people, yeah, and if we have to protest, I think we should do it. And as much as it's talked about, it will get pressurized because in the parliament, if people don't know, the situation is that the government already has two-third majority, which means the government is presenting the bill. So if we don't pressurize it as much as possible, it will get passed. And for the people who
Yeah.
are suspecting it to not get passed, you might be wrong because it's closer than you think. So our only
Yeah.
responsibility is to do that. And if Parakram, if you could tell them what they actually can do in terms of taking actions, I think you shared a post, and if you could
Yes.
explain it a bit.
So the post is technical, so I'm going to consider so I don't miss out
Sure,
what
sure, sure.
I say. Definitely, there's Speak Up Nepal where you can sign a petition, an online petition to stop the social media bill. If you go to Akriti's post, I've also given her credit. She speaks about how we can write a letter and we can also write an email to the government. And there's a whole process on how you can get it done. Where is it? And go check out this post. Uh, Go check out this post. It's not even clear and visible, but there are ways that we can go and write to the government to stop this bill. And I think the more number of people that say this will give a little bit of pressure to the government. And as you said, protests are also very important. I hope I mean, usually when things happen, we get to know about protests. I haven't heard of any protests. And for me to even take a part, I was, like you said, I was glad to see No Next Question. No Next Questions post which said the Nepal Student Union has protested. We need more of that. The youth needs to come up, speak up. Protesting on social media is also protest. The power of social media and digital media, the government has seen and is putting the social media bill for the same. We need to use that to our benefit to protest against this.
Yeah, and then not just promote gossip, not just because I was
Yeah.
devastated, right? Today, I could just see my morning realization was that if shit hits the fan, there are a lot of little people who'll support you. And then if
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't speak it on time, and then if we are not having our attention on time, it might be too late.
Yeah. You are alone. No one is there to support you in this world, in the digital world. And there's no one who's going to be there. So you have to root for yourself and you need to speak up about the social media bill before it's too late. I feel like it's already late, but we should try and do whatever we can to help stop this.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Parakram, for your time. It was a
Thank
lovely
you.
meet, right?
Yes.
And then I hope I'll post this as fast as possible. And yes, thank you so much for joining in.